Friends, the Charlie Kirk Show team here. America's debt bomb has blown past $37 trillion, and it's climbing every second. President Trump is fighting for fair trade and strong borders to slow the train wreck, but the numbers don't lie. When debt grows this fast, it can threaten your savings and your family's future. That's why more Americans are turning to real assets like gold and silver. I work with and recommend Preserve Gold. They make it simple to own physical gold and silver, even inside your retirement accounts like an IRA or 401k. Text USA to 50505 for their free wealth protection guide. With a qualified purchase, you could get up to $20,000 in free gold or silver. We do have the great Andrew Cipher, however, and we have the great Joe Bob and the great Mikey McCoy.
Well, we could just keep talking about Berkley because Andrew, I mean, you planned that.
Okay, this actually is a good point. Give me the rundown of what actually happened, because you and I talked two different times. You were explaining how this kind of sabotage happens. Give us the rundown.
Well, it's kind of to be expected at this point with the UC schools. Anytime you're going to a University of California school, you just know that they're not going to cooperate. Legally, they're bound to, and so they're going to do what they must at a minimum. Mm-hmm. But that's it, at a minimum.
Yeah.
And so day of, or a couple of weeks out, they decided to switch the ticketing policy on us. It's kind of par for the course. They always like, oh, by the way, no longer can we use your ticketing system. You have to use ours. We're not going to allow standby tickets anymore. And then we fought them on that. Okay, we'll give you 150 standby tickets. We're like, well, you do realize this venue, it accommodates 2,000 plus people, and there's 6,000 people that want to come that we have on the books. And that's just who we have on the books. We have way more, thousands more that wanted to come on top of that. So we knew the games they were going to play. Day of, they brought in the entire police squad, not just their campus police, but they contracted other police, other security. They blocked off the entire quad right in front of the entrance of the theater, and they had 4 entrances that they were going to use, but they decided to go with one entrance, which created a V-shaped funnel to get into the theater. We've seen this before. And where did the protest set up? Right next to, not just right next to, right in front of the one entrance that they gave for our attendees.
What do they call it? The free speech plaza? Free speech zone?
They designate, police will designate a free speech zone,
which is,
where
by
protesters.
The way, such a garbage
BS,
name.
Dude.
And by the way, at every other tour stop where they've done this, they've always put the free speech zone away where they cannot obstruct the attendees.
Well, yeah.
And also just for safety, just to keep them far enough away from each other so you don't see what we saw the other night, which was people confronting each other.
Well, and again, I don't want to sound repetitive, but they do this at all the UC schools. At UC Davis, it was the same thing. All of the attendees got funneled through the one spot that all of the Antifa people were. We're talking.
It's a deterrent. It's a deterrent.
It's a big place.
Do you think the police do that on purpose?
I think the police cooperate with the administrators.
I think that's yes. That's
I think
more
the
true.
administrators are saying this is what we want to do. The police will then sign off on it because here's the thing.
Be so mad.
Standby people and our all attendees that wanted to get in, they weren't ushered in until the police took over. Once it started to get a little chaotic, there was violence happening when they're imitating gunshots, reenacting the assassination of Charlie. They're playing clips, and then they had a car backfiring at the end of Charlie's live recording of that day. At that point, everyone was starting to freak out because they thought it was gunshots.
People were running.
They were running, and at that point, the police said, administrators stand by, we're taking charge, we're letting everybody in.
Good.
And so it was the police that came to our aid in the name of safety.
Yeah, I think the police will step in and do their job if they're given the ability to, right? So it's I'm told, by the way, we're close to getting Allie.
This is a hint of the administrative state, both on college campuses in the UC system, but then also in our government. Like when administrators get involved, things go south.
But I think you're totally right. All of the police officers and the police presence there were working their best to actually get people into the venue. But I do think they were positioned in a terrible way. Yeah. And it's either incompetence or malicious.
I'll take the latter.
I agree with you. I think so too. But those are the only two options.
Here's the other. We always say big government sucks around here. The college administrations institutions as a whole are so bureaucratic that they don't even know who is their boss.
Yeah.
When you're at this event, there are literally so many staffers and policemen that if you go to them, you say, "Who's calling the shots here?" They're like,
Yeah.
"I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know." And so when chaos is happening, which it was when it started to unfold, and the imitated gunshots, everything, no one knew what to do because they all had 4 different bosses and they didn't know who to go to. And when you went to that boss, they said, "Well, I have to get it approved by my other boss," and then that person has to get approved by another boss. It just goes to show how ineffective these events, if they just defer to the experts, which we are, defer to the campus police, these events could be run so much smoother as they are in every other state.
Is California the hardest state to work with when it
By
comes
far.
It's not even close.
to Gavin? It's Gavin's fault.
Well, it's because his son is a huge fan of Charlie Kirk, but now he doesn't want to admit it.
Yeah,
That bothers me so much, by the way.
me too.
He's just lying.